So what advice would you give to parents about learning to trust other adults again? Because that must take a really big hit.
Yeah.
With news like this.
Especially if you were groomed.
Mm.
You know, because again, one of the biggest myths around sexual violence is it's stranger danger. You know, that it's the white van picking your kid up after school. And of course, those stories happen horrifically and they hit the news. And so that's the thing we tend to go, oh, you know, let's be worried about it. But I think the percentages in the high 90s of most harm happens in relationships. And those relationships are often, you know, close family or extended family. And so that idea of going, I missed it too. And so, you know, that desire to want to protect your child is really strong and not surprising. And you'll notice a lot of people who work in the work that we do don't tend to like to send their kids to sleepovers, you know, because there can be that vicarious kind of sense of how safe is the world. And I think we've got to kind of challenge that a little bit, isn't it? Because I think the reality is, you know, we can't predict what's around the corner. But if we live in that heightened state of fear, then the world can become, I mean, the world's a pretty unsafe place anyway. Let's pop that delusional bubble that we're kind of, everything's good. But if we live in that heightened state of distress, then actually joy gets robbed from other things, and other valuable, as Sam was saying, other valuable learning experiences don't get to be had. So I think for parents, you know, they might start small, you know, they might need to take some time, but that's with support to go, actually it's okay just to model for the child that it's not appropriate to trust everybody. Because that's another really important thing, is people go, trust me. It's like, why? You know, and so actually I might be a very trustworthy person, but actually why would you trust me until you know me? So teaching your child, but also reminding yourself, is what would be the indicators of trust? How do we set up really good ways of communicating? And maybe it is that there's another adult present, or maybe the doors always stay open, or maybe sleepovers mean that I know the family really well. And the sad thing is we can do all of this stuff and something might still happen. But I suppose the challenge for our families is, well, for all families, is do you live your life on the possibility that things happen, or do you go, how do we minimise the chance that things happen, but also give messages that you can cope with what happens? Yeah, it's a tough one.
Yeah, I think certainly in the work with children that I do, quite a big part of it is preventative. Because we know that if a child's been sexually harmed, it increases their risk of future re-victimisation. So involving the parent in that work too, to kind of, I guess, confirm or to reinforce those messages. What are my early warning signs? And supporting children to really take notice of what's going on inside of their body. When they might feel this sort of butterflies in their stomach, or just feel that something's not quite right. And so parents can be involved in that work and building your child's, I mean, it's not the child's responsibility to keep themselves safe, right? But all of that work can minimise future risk of harm, and if the parent can be on board with that, it might help build their confidence that we can do things, we can upskill to minimise the risk of future harm.
Sure.
But don't be in a hurry, you know. I mean, if it's 5 years later and you still haven't let your child out of their home, you know, that's the thing about, you know, and I'm saying that kind of a bit jokingly, but also not, is that people can go, this has smashed my perception that the world's a safe place, especially if I might have had my own trauma. And we want to keep our child really safe. The risk is that can do harm too. So if you're in that place of going, I don't know how to traverse this whole trust thing or safety thing, get some help. But there's support out there.